السلام عليكم أصدقائي، مرحبا بكم من جديد في قناة Learn English with Fati أو تعلم الإنجليزية مع فاتي. في هذا الفيديو غادي ناخدو أمثلة في simple present with verb to work. Okay? So قبل ما غندوزو إن شاء الله الأمثلة ديالنا في affirmative sentences and negative sentences and questions، غادي نطرقوا المصطلحات اللي غنعتمدوا عليهم في تكوين الأمثلة ديالنا. Okay? So let's go to understand the meaning of the words. Okay? So here we can start with vocabulary. Okay? Vocabulary. All right? So we have here verb to work. So it is a verb. So it means to do a job, okay? To do a job, especially the job you do to earn money. So verb to work, it means to do a job، يعني كتقوم بالعمل، خاصة داك العمل اللي كتخلص عليه، اللي okay? So here we can say work, it means to do a job, especially the job you do to earn money. The job you do to earn money. So here we have earn money. It means to get money. As a payment. To get money as a payment for work that you do. So let's repeat. Earn money, it means to get money as a payment for work that you do. Okay? To get money as a payment for work that you do. Department store, it is a large store that sells many kinds of products. A large store that sells many kinds of products. Department store, a large store that sells many kinds of products. Okay? متجر كبير بحال أسيمة مثلا. We have here store manager مدير المتجر. Store manager, someone who is responsible for overseeing operations of store. Someone who is responsible for overseeing operations of store. So to oversee, it means to watch or organize a job. Okay? Oversee, it means to watch or organize a job. يعني مدير المتجر شنو هو العمل ديالو، الدور ديالو هو أنه كيراقب أو لا كينظم العمل. Okay? It means to watch يعني كيراقب أو لا كينظم. Organize a job. Okay? هو اللي كيكون مسؤول responsible for overseeing operations of store. Okay? العمليات اللي كتتم داخل المتجر. Okay? Alright? I hope it's clear. Okay, so here we have the last words. Okay? So please look here, we have design studio. Repeat please. Design studio. We can see also drawing office. Either you can say design studio or drawing office. Okay? So it means it is a workplace. مكان العمل. Okay? Next we have fashion designer. It means someone who designs fashionable clothes. Okay? مصمم الأزياء. Okay? Last word we have fashion. 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 It means a style that is popular. It means famous, يعني popular. A style that is popular at particular time. Alright? Okay, fashion الموضة. Okay? دابا غادي ندوزو نشوفو أول حاجة كيفاش الشكل ديال can say affirmative sentences or statements and negative sentences and questions. So please pay attention here. We have the present simple with other verbs. The present simple with other verbs. يعني زمن المضارع البسيط مع أفعال أخرى. Okay? So like for example verb to write, to read, to listen, to speak, to talk, and so on. We're gonna start with affirmative sentences, or we can say positive sentences. Affirmative sentences or positive sentences. So when we want to make a sentence, we have to start our sentence with subject pronoun. Okay? خصنا نبداو بالفاعل. And then the verb. You can say and then الفعل. Okay? So here we have subject pronouns. I, you, we, they. So, and we have verb to work. Okay? So we can say I work. You work. Okay? We work. They work. Okay? You can say I work here. They work there. Okay? And we work in a new company. Just an example. So here we have third person singular, which is he and she and it. So we have to say he works, she works, it works. So pay attention here, please. With third person singular, we have to add s to the verb. Okay? We have to add s at the end of the verb. Okay? So, is it clear? واضح? Whereas with I, you, we, they, we don't add nothing. Okay? We don't add nothing. We just write verb to work without to. I mean, we write the verb in the base form. Okay? كنضيفو s فقط للثird person singular. يعني مع I, you, we, they ما كنضيفو حتى حاجة، فقط كنحطو الverb في البيس فورم ديالو. Okay? يعني without to. So here we have negative sentences. Okay? We have seen affirmative sentences. Now we can say negative sentences. الجمل المنفية. Okay? Negative sentences. We have here, we start our negative sentences with subject pronouns. Okay? As we have here, you can see I, you, we, they. I don't work. You don't work. We don't work. Or we can say they do not work. Okay. So we have to start our negative sentence with subject pronoun first. كنبداو الجملة بالفاعل. For example, عندنا I plus بغينا نديروها في النيجاتيف خصنا auxiliaries. Okay? Which is do not and does not. Okay? So we use do not with I, you, we, they, and we use does not with third person or singular, which is he and she and it. Okay? Is it okay? Alright. Here, then we can write the verb. Okay? After auxiliary, we can write the verb. Okay? So we start our sentence with subject, then the auxiliary, then the verb. Okay? Alright? So we can say, I don't work. You don't work. Or we do not work. They do not work. Okay? We have here full form, do not, and then we have don't. 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 It is short form. And here we have do not. It is full form. Okay? Normally we use this in writing, and this it is used in speaking. Okay, so here we have he does not work. Cannot say he does not works. Don't use s here. Okay, we just put the verb in the base form. Okay, so she does not work. He doesn't work. We have here does not full form and doesn't short form. She doesn't work here. He doesn't work here. Okay, it doesn't work. All right, I hope it's clear. Now let's move on to know how we can form questions in the present simple, okay, with other verbs. All right, well done. So please look here, we have questions. Questions in the present simple with other verbs, okay? So when we want to make question in the present simple, we have to start our question with auxiliary, either do or does, okay? So we use do with I, you, we, they. كيف ما شفنا في النيجاتيف فورم. Okay, do I work? Do you work? Do we work? Do they work? Okay, let's repeat. Do I work? Do you work? Do we work? Do they work? Alright, here we have third person singular, which is he and she and it. So we have to use does, not do. Okay, we start our question with does. Does he work? Does he work? Does she work? Does it work? Okay, let's repeat. Does he work? Does she work? Does it work? Okay, is it clear? دابا غندوزو ل WH question. Okay, so please look here, we have WH questions. Okay, WH questions like what, who, when, where, and so on. Okay, so please pay attention here. We have WH question, how to form WH question. Okay, so شفنا قبل yes no question. Okay, do does اللي كنجاوبوا عليها ب yes ولا ب no. حنا دابا غادي نشوفوا WH question like what, who, when, where, how, etc. Okay, so ملي كتبغي تكون سؤال في simple present مع WH question كتبدا ب WH question السؤال ديالك، كتفتتح السؤال ديالك ب WH question. Okay, so can say here what do you do, for example. What do you do? Okay, so structure, we have what, who, when, where, which, how, etc. plus do if you are talking about these subject pronouns, which are I, you, we, they. So you can say what do you do? Okay, what do you do? What do they do? Okay, what do we do? Okay, etc. Here, if you want to make your question with WH question and with subject with a third person singular, you have to use, if you are talking about he or she or it, you have to use does. Okay, not do. So can say where does she live, or where does she work. So شفنا WH question في واحد الفيديو سابق، اللي ما عارفهمش يقدر يرجع له. Okay, so دابا غادي ندوزو الاكزامبلز ديالنا. Okay, alright, let's go. So please pay attention. We have here affirmative sentences, okay, as an examples. Okay, let's read them. Okay, so I work for a department store. store manager. Next we have you work for a department store. You are store manager. You work for a department store. You are a store manager. Let's repeat. You work for a department store. You are a store manager. He works. Pay attention. You have to add S to the verb, okay? He works for a department store. He is a store manager. He is a store manager. He works for a department store. He is a store manager. Okay, all right. She works for a department store. She is a store manager. She works for a department store. She is a store manager. She works for a department store. She is a store manager. All right. So next one we have it works properly because it is a new device. Okay. It works properly. Okay. Because it is a new device. Okay. It works properly because it is a new device. Okay. You work in a design studio. You are fashion designers. You work in a design studio. You are fashion designers. Pay attention here عندنا you وهنا عندنا you. You هذه كنعنيو بها المفرد أنت أو أنت. whereas هذه كنعنيو بها الجمع أنتم. Okay. So داكشي علاش هدينا designers درنا لها S حيت كنهضروا على مصممي الأزياء. هنا كنهضروا على المفرد درنا store manager without S. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, here you work in a design studio. You are fashion designers. We work in a design studio. We are fashion designers. We work in a design studio. We are fashion designers. Let's repeat. We work in a design studio. We are fashion designers. Alright. Last one we have they work in a design studio. They are fashion designers. They work in a design studio. They are fashion designers. Okay. So please let's read the negative sentences. Okay. We're gonna start with these sentences. We can say I do not work for a department store. I'm not a store manager. Okay, so the negative sentence, it contains auxiliary and not. Okay, auxiliary either do or does plus not. Okay, so we can say I don't work for a department store. I'm not a store manager. Let's repeat. I don't work for a department store. I'm not a store manager. Okay? Next we have you don't work for a department store. You are not a store manager. And then we have he doesn't work for a department store. He is not a store manager. He doesn't work for a department store. He isn't a store manager. Okay? She doesn't work for a department store. She is not a store manager. By the way, she isn't or she is not. So isn't, it is short form, and is not, it is a full form. شفنا هادشي في الفيديو ديال verb to be. Okay? So Let's repeat. She doesn't work for a department store. She is not a store manager. And next we have, it doesn't work properly because it isn't a new device. It doesn't work properly because it isn't a new device. Let's repeat again. It doesn't work properly because it isn't a new device. Okay? Next we have, you don't work in a design studio. You are not a fashion designer. You don't work in a design studio. You are not a fashion designer. You don't work in a design studio. You are not a fashion designer. Then we have, we don't work in a design studio. We are not a fashion designers. We don't work in a design studio. We are not a fashion designers. Last one we have, they don't work in a design studio. They are not a fashion designers. They don't work in a design studio. They are not a fashion designers. They don't work in a design studio. They are not a fashion designers. Alright? I think it's clear. Okay? كنظن فهمتوا negative sentences وفهمتوا affirmative sentences. Now let's go to look at questions. So please, here we have questions. Okay? Questions. Okay? So let's read them. We have here, do I work for a department store? Do I work for a department store? Am I a store manager? Am I a store manager? Do I work for a department store? Am I a store manager? Let's repeat. Do I work for a department store? Am I a store manager? Next we have, do you work for a department store? Do you work for a department store? Are you a store manager? Are you a store manager? Are you a store manager? Does he work for a department store? Does he work for a department store? Does he work for a department store? Is he a store manager? Is he a store manager? Is he a store manager? Let's repeat again, please. Does he work for a department store? Is he a store manager? Next we have, does she work for a department store? Is she a store manager? Does she work for a department store? Is she a store manager? Is she a store manager? Alright. Then we have, does it work properly? Does it work properly? Does it work properly? Do you work in a design studio? Do you work in a design studio? Are you fashion designers? Are you fashion designers? Do you work in a design studio? Are you fashion designers? Do we work in a design studio? Do we work in a design studio? Are we fashion designers? Are we fashion designers? Let's repeat again, please. Do we work in a design studio? Are we fashion designers? Last one. Do they work in a design studio? Do they work in a design studio? Are they fashion designers? Are they fashion designers? Do they work in a design studio? Are they fashion designers? Alright. Very good. So, I hope it's clear. كنتمنى تكونوا فهمتوا الدرس. الجواب ديال هاد النوع ديال الأسئلة كيكون yes ولا بنو. So, هادشي اللي كاين في هاد الفيديو هذا. انتظرونا الفيديو الجاي إن شاء الله. التوفيق للجميع. إلى اللقاء.